So we're going to get on to my sermon. So it is called 3 times no. Now, stop, hold on. I was just about to say something, but then you interrupted me. All right, I'm not a mathematician, obviously. Anyways, so it's basically no, no, no. No 3 times. I just said 3 times no, and I really like this. It looks cool. No cubed. No cubed. All right, anyways. So, I got this idea. Me and Jess, we went to Arkansas. She had family reunion. I met a lot of people. Forgot a lot of names, but don't. Okay, wait. Edit that out in case they look. Anyways, met a lot of people, and I went to their church Sunday, and I got to sit in on it. And their pastor, he talked about the story of Peter, which I will be revisiting in this. So he talked about the story of Peter. Now, everyone knows Peter, right? Everyone knows Peter. He's like the one that walked on water. He's the rock. He's the saint, like Saint Peter. What? Yeah, everyone's shaking their heads. I like that. Okay. He was the fisherman. He followed Jesus for 3 years. That was pretty important. Probably a big milestone in his life. He was a part of Jesus' inner circle. He preached to tens of thousands, all that good number jazz. And then he was just a great guy. I think we can agree on that. But in this story they told, it's actually a really famous story, and I'm sure like most of you know it. It's the story of when Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Everyone, yes. Remember, yes. Awesome. Come on, Cody. Work with me here. You gotta run the cogs. All right. So now we know famous fire-preaching Peter and had his younger and more doubtful times, which like now that I think about it, this story is like just a couple months before when he like goes and preaches to thousands and gets them all saved. Anyways, it wasn't that long ago, that's what I'm trying to say. He had his low times and he had his high times, and they were really close together. Anyways, so let's read the story of Peter together. It's in Luke 22, 54 to 62. You want to grab your phones, your Bibles, your electronic Bibles, your light Bibles, if you will. You want to turn to those or tap to those. So like I said, Luke 22, 54 through 62. I'm going to sit down because this is where story time begins. Did I rhyme? Oh, thank you. I tried. It's freestyle. All of it's freestyle. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Is everyone ready? Everyone turned? Everyone tapped? Yeah? All right. Let's get to it. I hope we have the right version. Yeah. So here we go. Then seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance, and when some there had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and had sat down together, Peter sat down with them. A servant girl saw him there, seated in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, "This man was with him," but he denied it. "Woman, I don't know him," he said. A little later, someone else saw him. "You are also one of them." "Man, I am not," Peter replied. About an hour later, another asserted, "Certainly this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean." Peter replied, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about." That sounds like what I would, like how I talk. Man, dude, guy. Brother. Yes, brother. All right. Just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him. "Before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. Now you guys know, like before 54, like Jesus, they had like the Last Supper, and Jesus was like, "You're going to deny me 3 times." And Peter was like, "Ain't never going to do that." And then he went and he did it. So, we all think like Peter's this great, amazing guy, walked on water. It's like my grandma. I thought Peter was this great, amazing guy, walked on water, did all these miracles, saved lives, or he preached to have lives saved, and he just was inspiring overall. Wasn't he, Freddie? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big plot twist, just like our small groups. He wasn't always that great. So, while Peter had his high and mighty moments, he was still human, dealt with sin. Oh my gosh. Sin, struggled with doubt, all this kind of stuff. So, this is where we kind of get closer to story time. Even bigger plot twist, there's a Peter. There's a Peter in this room right now. Judith. All right. So anyways, plot twist. There's a Peter in this room right now. You guys don't even know it. So I'd really like it if you listened here. We're about to start a story, all right? So I'd appreciate it if you leaned in close, listened to my story, maybe bring the lights down a little bit, make it ambient. All right. So I have a story of a teen. So let's start here. I kind of want background music for this story, but I don't want to put that on you guys. Should we? Gabe, can you do piano for me? Just piano. Yes. Can we get a round of applause for Gabe? I appreciate you. Just like, can you, like, story, like, kind of inspirational, kind of sad. Like, I think you'll read my vibes. All right. There was this kid who accepted God and followed to the best of their ability. They went to church as often as they could get a ride on Sunday and went to Wednesday service every week. They started to grow up and became a teen and loved having the free will that came with it. It felt like church was an option now and didn't have to come every single time. They felt like they could finally hang out with any friends that they wanted, even the ones that their parents said they didn't like. The parents couldn't do anything anymore, so it didn't matter what they thought. The teens started going less often to church and instead used that time to hang out with friends and go to their houses. The teen got plugged in with the friends they always wanted. The friends didn't care what the teen did and were going to hang out and around as long as it was fun. Eventually, some friends brought others, and the others brought alcohol and drugs and just bad environment. None of them were gonna say no. I mean, being the oddball out would totally kill the vibe. At the end of the night, it was all fun and games and no one got hurt. No one called the cops and no one even threw up. The teen thought to themselves, well, this wasn't that bad. They started to do this at least once every week now. Then they began to hop to different parties just to get drunk or high with some other different people. The teen felt a need to hide this from the people at the church, even the pastor. Eventually, a party they went to, someone recognized them and said, "Aren't you that one kid that goes to that church?" No. You have me confused for someone else, the person says. The person says, okay, and walks away. Now, at school the next day, the teen is known for being at these parties and doing these things, and someone there goes up to them. "Didn't one time you said you went to that one church?" The teen goes, "What? No. Why would I go to church? You know what I do. You know what I'm all about partying, having fun." Once again, the person says, "All right," and walks away. Now, the teen goes off, and after school, they go to hang out with their friends. One of the friends there says, "You know, I heard you went to a youth group. Is that true?" Everyone laughs. The teen is fed up with it, swears them all out, and says they would never go to a church. Surprised by the teen's reaction, they awkwardly move on and try to change the subject. Now, if the band would go ahead and come up, this is really short, it's just a story time. So, skip now to the teen. The teen decided to go to church on a Sunday because their parents begged them to go and drove them. Someone there notices the teen and asks them if anything is wrong. The teen puts on a smile and says, "Nope, life's great." Wednesday rolls around and the teen's friends canceled the hangout, so the teen decides to go to youth. The youth pastor meets with them and asks jokingly if they've been staying out of trouble. The teen feels the pull at their heart, but denies it and laughs it off, saying that they've been good. Now, the teen goes in to sit and listens to the sermon. They can feel that God is directing it towards them. They can feel God's sadness and grief at what they've been doing. They can feel God's desire and call for them to come home to Him. God is crying out for their heart, for them to turn away from their past and bad influences and addiction. God has been knocking at their door for so long that they've gotten none to it. That God has just been reaching out to them. God's been crying out for their heart, crying out for them to just look back towards him. But the teen's been off doing other things. The teen's been ignoring it, saying, I don't want the kind of life where I have to live responsibly. I don't want the kind of life where I have to think about my problems every night. The teen goes off and thinks, no, I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna press it off. I'm just gonna push it down farther and farther and just ignore it. It's not my problem right now. As long as I can stay drunk, stay high, or do whatever I want, I'll be good. As long as I can do what I want, I'll be fine. As long as I'm not hurting anyone else, I'll be perfectly fine. I'm not hurting myself. I'm not hurting anyone else. So it's not their problem. The teen comes back in and sits back down and listens. But whether they stand up or stay seated when the pastor calls for them, that's not written yet. Now, like I said, there's a Peter in this room, someone in this room that's been saying no, someone that God's been calling out to, that's been knocking on your heart. You've been pressing it down. You've pretending it's fine. You've been saying it's all good, and you've been going and doing something you shouldn't have. You've been going and you've been saying, I'm gonna live my life how I want to. But now you're here and God's calling out to you again. He's knocking on your heart, just hoping that you're gonna answer it. Now, this next part, it's up to you, like I said. Whether you're saying that you're the exact same person in the story or just a little bit different, everyone's been struggling with something to hand over, something that they've been saying no to, something that they've been turning away from God. That maybe you've been denying Christ and you've been hiding your lifestyle from your friends, from others, from even some people you looked up to. But it's up to you right now whether you give it over or not. So, this was really short, but I feel like this was the important thing that God was laying on my heart. That there's someone that's been saying no, that there's someone that's been running and hiding, but they've come back. And God's knocking at your heart right now. I want everyone to bow their head and close their eyes. For someone out there right now, the rooster is crowing. Just like for Peter, the rooster is crowing. Are you gonna accept or deny him again? You need to look inside yourself and see if you're ready to hand it over to Jesus. Because he's been ready for you to hand it over since day one.